In the mother city, where the communities in the Cape Flats continue to battle gang and taxi violence, that's despite increased police deployment, deadly shooting incidents do persist. The most recent incident is the death of a 3-month-old baby who was caught in the crossfire in Bonteheuwel. Nasiphi joining us live from there. The situation is stark, and just a stone's throw away, we're still seeing this Interpol Africa conference happening. But on the ground, Nasiphi, the story is a dire one.
Indeed, Arabile, we'll track back to May when the convoy led by President Cyril Ramaphosa was meeting with the President of the United States. We heard from billionaire businessman Johan Rupert detailing how grim the picture is for the Western Cape, particularly when it comes to gang violence. And the last months have been testament to those comments that were made in the White House. And communities on the Cape Flats, including Kraaifontein, have fallen victim to the ongoing scourge of gang violence. And we are currently in Bonteheuwel. If you remember, just last week, the news of the 2-month-old Muhsin Isaacs made headlines and bringing a spotlight into this community once again with gang violence at the center. I am joined now by the councillor of Bonteheuwel, Angus McKenzie, and behind us is a wall of remembrance for those that have fallen victim due to gang violence. Talk to us about this particular wall with the first face that was put up being Muhsin Isaacs, the 2-month-old.
Absolutely. So we don't tolerate gangsterism, and neither do we tolerate the killing of innocent people. It happens, but we don't tolerate it, and it must not be happening in our communities. And so we've worked exceptionally hard in this community with our law enforcement teams, with our neighborhood watchers, with our community ambassadors in creating a safe environment. Overwhelmingly, we've achieved that. Bonteheuwel has been an island of showing that it can be done in a world that has really been affected by gang violence in a big way. And so for us, it's not just important to say we condemn it. It's not just for us to say, to make statements about it being, we want to do something visibly about it. And so we've erected this permanent memorial site here where we want community members that have lost loved ones to come and place the photos of their loved ones on this hall. So this is a central space in Bonteheuwel. It's frequented by most of the community. And this hall must speak to not only our condemning of gang violence, but also how important it is that peace must reign in this community and unity must reign. And so through pain, we hope that we will find unity, and through that unity that we will continue to be the shining light of peace that can be possible in communities across Cape Town.
Last week when you spoke following the deadly shooting of 2-month-old Muhsin Isaacs, you were telling us that, it's not widespread, the gang violence. It's concentrated in a certain section of Bonteheuwel. Has that been able to be contained, that scourge of gang violence, in that particular area?
So using neighborhood watches and community initiatives, we've been able to quell gang violence across the community. And so we see the stats. The stats show us that there's been a huge reduction in gang-related murders in this community versus previous years. So much so that we've taken ourselves out of the top 10 and the top 30 of the worst gang-related murder stats police stations. In one section of Bonteheuwel, between two gangs, we've had ongoing shooting. And so we've really thought and felt that police would be able to deal with just one street, would be able to deal with intelligence, with information coming out of just one street, and they've not been able to do it. So much so that this young child last week had to lose its life. And how the child lost his life was even more alarming, because it's not as if it happened on the street where the child was on the street. It happened inside a house, just showing the brazen nature of how desperate gangsters are to assume gang territory, to assume gang turf. And so this whole thing boils down to owning a piece of land which will never be on their name. They'll never own the title deed to it. So we understand the stupidity around it, but we also need to make sure that as a community we are supporting SAPS, we are supporting law enforcement, and we're doing everything we can and investing in those operations to make sure we continue to keep things safer.
Angus Mackenzie there, the ward councillor of Bonteheuwel, just asking my colleague to show you those two faces that have been put up. We understand that yesterday the councillor informed residents that they can come and put the faces of their loved ones on this particular wall. Remembrance for those that have died due to gang violence. In July, when we spoke to the provincial commissioner, when the scourge of gang violence actually started rearing its head in Mitchell's Plain, he had informed us that at the time it was a conflict between two in-laws, and now we've seen a widespread of shootings linked to gang violence, and places like Muizenberg recently forming part of those problematic communities where internal gang wars. We're now hearing from the Council of Bonteheuwel that it's two rival gangs that are particularly fighting. So the scourge of gang violence continues in the Western Cape, and hopefully something will be done. This is what many of the residents are saying, taking into account the rising death toll.